Hey, how's it going everyone, and welcome back to another stealth guide. For this we are talking about how you can learn to master stealth in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And this one is quite different from the recent Assassin's Creed games thanks to the return of social stealth, so I will not only be giving you tips and strategies for normal stealth, but you can learn how to master social stealth as well. Now before we do anything, pause your game, head over to options, gameplay, and turn on guaranteed assassination if you have not already. This option guarantees every enemy you assassinate will die instantly, making the game a lot more smooth, rewarding, and more realistic in stealth, so you don't just cut someone's throat and they magically live. Now let's go over the best skills you want to have for stealth. By far the best and most important is chain assassination. Being able to take out two enemies at once in stealth is huge and very important. You should also get guided arrows so you can snipe enemies from afar with your bow. Assassin's Cantrip is also really good for when you are spotted and want to get back into stealth, and the Explosive Corpse is also pretty cool and helpful for taking out enemies in a more creative way. It also helps to have stealth recon so you don't constantly have to spam eagle vision while in stealth. It'll automatically mark enemies when you are crouched and near them. Something like auto loot is also nice to have, but the ones I mentioned previously are by far the most important. Now for the abilities, there isn't a whole lot that are helpful in stealth, and they really aren't too necessary since you have insta-kill assassinations, but I would recommend Focus of the Nornir. It basically just gives you slow motion shots with your bow, and it's a really good way to take out a lot of enemies very quickly, like if you're about to get spotted or something. Piercing Shot is also great. I mean, you can shoot enemies through walls, so that obviously is really helpful to have as well. For melee abilities, the only one I really recommend for stealth is Feign Death. This just makes it so you can play dead during combat and get off detection, and then as soon as the enemy walks away, you can just pop up and get the easy stealth kill. Now let's move on to some of the actual tips I have for you. In an Assassin's Creed game, it is always important to remember and utilize your ability for parkour. I always like to start my stealth infiltration by climbing up to one of the highest points possible. It gives you a clear overview of what you're working with and allows you to create a little plan and route in your head for what you want to do. It also helps you clear out any archers who are on the high ground, and you want to take those guys out first because they're going to have the best chance of spotting you once you are on the ground. And from there, you want to start assassinating your enemies from top to bottom. So you're working your way down, and most importantly, always remember to use eagle vision. Eagle vision is the one tool you have for spotting enemies, and it allows you to keep track of them so you're never getting surprised and spotted. Another tip I have, and this may sound a bit odd and basic, but is extremely crucial, is to be patient. A lot of people when playing stealth games, and Assassin's Creed in particular, get way too antsy and impatient and try to rush the stealth. Don't get me wrong, the faster you do it, the cooler it looks, but it's not an effective strategy. You need to start slow, take your time, survey the enemies, drop a plan in your mind, and execute it. Pay attention to things like the route the NPCs take, and you'll be able to predict exactly where they will be and when, creating a perfect opportunity for an easy kill. And I think as you start to do this more and more, you're going to find stealth becoming a lot easier, and you will naturally start becoming quicker and more efficient in stealth. Another tip is to utilize your bow. Your bow is extremely versatile and can be used in a lot of different situations in many different ways. It can be used to take out enemies from afar or in places you can't reach. You can use it to disable the alarm bell, and you can use it to distract and lure your enemies. You can even use it to get a pretty sick triple kill by shooting one enemy and then pulling off a chain assassination. Not to mention, with the right abilities and skills, it can be extremely powerful, like Focus of Nornir that I mentioned earlier. Using bush cover and whistling is also really strong and quite frankly overpowered, because you can just camp in a bush and just whistle lure enemies over to you and just keep killing them one by one without even being spotted, so that tactic is also quite effective. Now let's talk about the social stealth. Hide in plain sight. You're taught pretty early on in the game how the social stealth works with the hood and cloak. How the detection meter works during social stealth is that the slower you are moving, the slower the detection meter will move. And it will also be a lot harder for enemies to detect you if you make sure to always have your back to turn to them and put some distance between you. For PC, there is a set keybind for walking, which makes it quite easy to do and avoid detection, and on console you just have to slightly move the left stick. Now one of the harder parts about social stealth is trying to isolate your enemies because they often stay in a large group, so you need to cause some sort of distraction to split them up. There's a couple of things you can do. Probably the most effective is heading to the nearest tavern and luring a drunk to cause a scene and get the guards' attention. The drunks are highlighted in white on your eagle vision. This will draw their focus where you can either sneak past them or kill them while they are temporarily split up. Another thing you can do is throw a body somewhere so they investigate it, or you can always shoot an arrow nearby, or even throw a torch at a building and catch it on fire. If you need to just avoid detection or wait for a better opportunity, keep your eye open for benches and tables. Anything you can blend in with will also be highlighted in white and will provide you with a perfect disguise. Another quick tip is while in social stealth, I recommend you be standing and walking. When you assassinate the target, it gives you a much quicker animation, and it's great for taking out someone in a large crowd, and the animation is so fast it's unlikely anyone will see you pull it off, and even if they do see you, you will already be back in social stealth walking away with your hood and cloak concealing you. And if you're spotted, just play dead and the enemies will leave you and you will be back in stealth. And once again, it's a lot easier to avoid enemies and stay hidden when you try to use parkour, gain high ground, and stick to the rooftops. That pretty much does it for my Master Assassin stealth guide on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I hope there were a few tips and tricks in here that you guys found useful and will help you become a better stealthy assassin in Valhalla. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please feel free to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are going for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would really appreciate that. And if you have any extra tips or strategies, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and we can all help each other become masters of the shadows. If you want to discuss Assassin's Creed or play with others, join my community Discord server, the link is in the description. Other than that, thank you for watching and have a stealthy rest of your day, assassins.